Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Hammered Corner. In today's video, we have another episode of my show and tell series, where I make a short video on a coin in my collection and tell you a little bit about it. It's a great way to watch some numismatic content, some great coins, and hopefully learn a thing or two. As of now, I will be removing the episode number, and all episodes will be listed in the playlist below. In today's episode, we have a Henry VIII Posthumous Groat. Now, I have covered the history and coinages from both Edward VI and Henry VIII, but this coin combines the numismatic history of both of them. A posthumous coin is a coin minted after the death of a monarch to celebrate and commemorate them. So this groat was minted during the reign of Edward VI, Henry's son, in the first 4 years of his reign, where this issue of coins bears his father's portrait and name around the legend. These, however, to the untrained numismatist, may look like a Henry VIII groat, minted during the third coinage between 1544 and 1547. But this was in fact minted between 1547 and 1541, and we have seen this on English coinage before, just like when Edward I issued a posthumous coin in the name of Henry III before the Great Recoinage between 1272 and 1279. And they tend to be a bit cheaper than those high-grade third coinages groats for the most part. This example was listed at £90, and I was able to swap my high-grade Henry III penny, and it has a very pleasing and recognisable bust of the king from the Jewett collection. Now, if you've watched my Henry VIII coinage introduction video, you'll know that the Henry VIII debased his coinage down to 1/4 to 1/6 of its intrinsic value, replacing large parts of the silver in his coins with base metal, and keeping the remaining silver to fund wars and the extravagant Tudor lifestyle. This, however, was a failed attempt to fool the people, but they began to catch on. An older, more valuable coinage was hoarded, and left Edward VI inheriting a real national coinage problem. So when Edward ascended to the throne, he issued currency with his father's portrait, circulating alongside the first issue of coinage bearing his own name and portrait, both now very heavily debased. Now, imagine comparing this to a modern day scenario, for example. You have just finished your retail job at Tesco supermarket for 8 hours excluding breaks and earning £10 worth of silver an hour. At the end of your shift, you collect £80 worth of silver earnings. But at this point, that £80 worth of silver earnings was now worth 1/4 to 1/6 of its intrinsic value. So you have just worked all that time for £13 to £20 worth of silver earnings, all of which would have been valued as such when making purchases. So you can begin to see why there was such a problem. I couldn't imagine going to work and earning a day's wage that turned out to be worth a fraction of what it should be. So let me compare this posthumous groat with Henry's name and portrait with that of a groat Henry VIII minted in the third coinage. And as you can see straight away, there is a definite difference in the portrait, with obvious bits of copper or erosion showing on the coin on the right. These were both heavily debased, the posthumous being more so. When you find silver coins detecting, you won't tend to see erosion like this. This being that they're normally found with the Royal Standard silver finesse, and precious metals don't react to the environment as base metals do. You can also see that there is an obvious portrait change between both coins, and with a bit of research you'll be able to see all bust variations and spot the differences in seconds. So let us look and compare the legends of my posthumous groat as it transitioned from the groat from the third coinage. Looking on the obverse, both legends read Henry VIII, by the grace of God, King of England, France and Ireland. The earlier groats of Henry VIII don't have HIB in the legend, as Henry VIII wasn't titled King of Ireland until 1541, and I cover more on that in my coinage introduction, linked above. Both coins bear the Liss mint mark, but interestingly, if we look at the reverse legends, the posthumous coin minted under Edward VI reads Civitas London, telling us that it was minted at the City of London, where the Henry VIII legend reads the more traditional I have made God my helper. But please bear in mind that the reverse of the posthumous coinages will bear different legends, depending on when it was minted, so be on the lookout for that too. You might be able to tell from my videos that the Tudor coinage comes up a lot, that being that their coinage is one of my favourites to collect. So please let me know if you enjoyed the video, and what coins you'd like to see appear on the channel in the future. Make sure to like, subscribe, so you never miss a video here on the channel. Be sure to check out the rest of my show and tell series, clicking the link on screen now or in the description. So thank you all for watching, and as always, keep collecting.